Good morning, Hosho staff, students, and families. Ya Teapena. We're ready to start our day, so please stand. Place your right hand on your head. If you have a hat or a hood, take it off. Place your right hand over your heart. Voices are off, bodies are still, standing respectfully, and we recite the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Good morning, everyone. Today is Friday. Happy Friday. And let's take a look and see what we have planned for today. First thing we'll do is listen to some music. So this is the Friday, so it's the last day of the week that we will listen to the selection that Mrs. Knapp has posted for us for this week, and there'll be a new selection for next week. So let's see if we've learned, it being Friday and all, what the selection is for this week, and the composer and the name. So let's listen together. Okay, friends, what are we listening to? Did you say Aaron Copland's Fanfare for the Common Man? You are correct. Nice job learning this piece this week. Very intense piece, more modern, right? Issuing in this new era for the common man and all the great things that we did. And in 1942, sometimes people talk about that generation being the greatest generation because of all of they had to go through the end of World War I, they went through the Great Depression, they went through World War II, survived so many things and brought us through all of that. And so they were worried and concerned about their future posterity, right? We hear that term a lot, and when we talk about our founding fathers and starting our country. And so they worked really hard to do that. And so they've left us with some inspiration to be the same for the next generation. So here's another piece. Now I'm going to play it from the middle, a little bit harder to figure out. So let's listen carefully and see if you can tell me who the composer is and what the name of this piece is. That was very quick, right? I don't play the piano myself, but it sounds like that would be a tricky one to play. So what are we listening to? Did you say The Minute Waltz? Correct. By Chopin. Nice job. Good job, everybody. Okay, so for art for this week, last time we're going to take a look at this for this week. Okay, tell me what we're looking at. Vincent van Gogh, Garden of Irises. Excellent. All right, so for our poem today, I have a selection for us. It's called Sing a Song of People by Lois Linsky. And this is a poem about people who live in the big city. But sometimes we have the same thing that sort of happens here. And so see if you can relate to anything that the author is telling you about people in a big city. Sing a song of people, walking fast or slow. People in the city, up and down they go. People on the sidewalk, people on the bus, people passing and back in front of us. People on the subway, underneath the ground, people riding taxis round and round and round. People with their hats on, going in the doors, people with umbrellas when it rains and pours, people in tall buildings and in stores below, riding elevators up and down they go. People walking singly, people in a crowd, people saying nothing, people talking loud, people laughing, smiling, grumpy people too, people who just hurry and never look at you. Sing a song of people who like to come and go. Sing of city people you see but never know. Have any of you ever been in a big city where you've been walking around? And I mean big city, like maybe New York City. That sort of has the feel of New York City. Sometimes Boston is like that. Busy. People in taxis, people in the subway, people on buses, lots of places to go. All these people all around, and nobody that you know or say hello to. So sometimes we can be lonely in a space where there's not many people around. We may feel alone or feel lonely. But sometimes big cities are the loneliest places because there's so many people and you don't know anybody and nobody stops to connect with you. So it's an interesting thing to think about, don't you think? That you can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. All right, so today is April 24th. I'm not sure if I said that already or not. And so let's take a look for birthdays. I don't believe there are any birthdays today, tomorrow, or Sunday. So hopefully when Monday comes around, we'll be able to recognize somebody for a birthday. Yep, no birthdays. Okay. So we've been talking about, we memorized the Declaration of Independence, which was ratified on what day? July 4, 1776. Then we talked about the preamble to the Constitution, which we say every day, the We the People of the United States. And the Constitution was from 1789. And then when we had, from the time of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, 77 years later, the United States is no longer united, and they no longer have domestic tranquility. They're in the middle of a civil war, and civil war means it's within a country. So parts of a country fight against each other within the country. So there's no outside invader. We'd already won the battle against England, so we were already our own country, but we were fighting within. And so we did not have domestic tranquility because we had issues that had not been resolved, because we believed that all men were created equal, and there were lots of conflicts over slavery and other issues, which led to the North and the South fighting against each other. And so after a number of years of this battle going on, Abraham Lincoln, our what president? 16th president, was asked to come to the battlefield in the town of Gettysburg and to give an address. And another word for address is speech. He had to give a speech to dedicate a portion of that battlefield to use as a cemetery for all those men who had died on that battlefield. And so it's his job then to give this address, to give this speech, and to dedicate a portion of this land to those who died. And so we're going to read recite the next couple of lines in which he indicates, which he says that that's what his intention is to do, or what he's been asked to do. So first we learned that 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent, right, in North American continent, a new nation, which was born, conceived in liberty, and it was dedicated. It was committed. It was promising to the idea that all people are created equal, men and women, that people are created equal. There's nobody who is an aristocrat or king or somebody who's better or deserves more than somebody else. And do you know, even at the time that Abraham Lincoln was giving this speech, many countries, including England, still had a system where you were born into privilege, or you were born into a different society, and you had what they called a station. It was your station. And so you might have been born to somebody who was a worker, who might be somebody who works as a farmer or works for a gentleman or a landowner. And then you might have been born into the family of the aristocrats. And just because you were born into one family or another, in the United States, it doesn't matter. You have equal rights. But in other countries, that wasn't the case at the time. You were born into a station, and you had to live in your station. You were not allowed to move outside your station very, very often. And yeah, it was really hard for people to do that. Even if you became wealthy, and you were still not accepted because you were not born into that station. And so the United States was an experiment to see, could the common man govern himself? And so Lincoln is asking, I don't know, because we've only been at this for 77 years, and already it's falling apart. And so this was part of the speech that he was giving. And so he says, now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation which decides to become self-governed can endure, can it last? And he states that we are met on a great battlefield of that war, and we have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper we should do this. Okay, so let's start from the beginning, and we're going to recite all the way through that paragraph. I know many of you know this. Some of you may not, because you were not here with us last year. But many of you do. And if you were here last year, I'm waiting to hear you. Nice and loud, please. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. Okay, so now next week we're going to go into why he says it's really difficult to dedicate or consecrate that land. And we'll listen to Lincoln's words. And you know, it's ironic that Lincoln had said as part of the words in the Gettysburg Address, that people will not remember what he said that day. And yet we are still talking about it, because those words were pretty magical and have lasted a long time and still have meaning for us today. So that's why we practice it. Okay, friends, readathon. Wow, we have some new names of some people who are making some effort in the readathon by posting their minutes and doing their reading, so nice job. In Miss Ferguson's class, Macy, nice job. In Miss Marshall's class, John Marie, good job getting those minutes posted. In Mr. Berg's class, Christian, still a leader. In Miss Essig's class, Joaquin, still a leader, and also in Mr. Green's, Taylor. In Miss Wilson's class, Martine's name has been mentioned a few times. And in Miss Stefke's class, Stella, nice job. And in kindergarten, we have some people who have moved to the next level, so they've earned a new prize. And I think all of these people have earned the science or art kit. So Ava in kindergarten, Ivy in first grade, and Jordan in 5th grade, nice job. People who are really, really close to the next level are in Miss Stefke's class, Jacob. In Miss Marshall's class, Ty and Alex, so close. In Miss Wilson's class, Elijah. In Miss Foster and Miss Stefke's class, Chase. Keep up the good work all weekend long. You don't have to stop because it's Friday. And the nice thing about reading is you might be stuck in your house, but you can go anywhere. You can go back in time. You can go forward in time. You can go into outer space. You can go to another country. You can go to a magical land. When you're reading, you can go anywhere and anytime. So you might feel stuck in your house, but the more that you learn to read and enjoy reading, you can go anywhere. So keep up the good work. That's all we have for today, so make sure you're finishing up this week's work and let your teachers know how you're going to turn it in. Parents can either send a picture or write an email to let the teacher know what you've been up to and what you've accomplished. Hopefully working at least an hour a day on either Class Dojo or Edmodo, so keep up the good work. Feel free, if you didn't have time, to work on the weekend, but especially do your reading so we can get you those prizes from the readathon. So let's do our student pledge. I will do the good, I will learn the true, and I will love the beautiful. And I hope you have a great day and a great weekend.